Nvidia could crash more than 40%, and I believe that this crash is going to start on Tuesday after it reports earnings. With its amazingly powerful graphics processing units, Nvidia is obviously the pure play on artificial intelligence. So why do I think it could crash that much? Nvidia reports earnings on November 21st after the market closes, and bulls believe it's going to be another explosive quarter like we've seen for the past 2 quarters in 2023. In fact, some bullish analysts have price targets for Nvidia of $700 a share or higher, more than 40% from where it closed on Friday. I've used Nvidia's products since the 1990s, and I've been a shareholder since 2016. It's currently the largest position in my portfolio, and I have huge gains in it. So why am I so bearish going into the earnings report? While I do have faith in Nvidia's long-term prospects, the stock has been incredibly cyclical. Every few years, Nvidia comes out with a new concept, whether it's data centers, cryptocurrency mining, or now AI, and investors build a hype bubble around that cycle, making it so that Nvidia's stock far outreaches where it should be based on it. And then Nvidia invariably reports earnings where it says that demand isn't quite as high as everyone expected, and the stock pulls back substantially. In fact, in the time that I've held Nvidia, where I originally opened my position in September of 2016, the stock has pulled back more than 40% 4 times, more than 50% 2 times, and just last year in 2022 pulled back nearly 70%. So why does that kind of a sell-off happen in a stock as popular as Nvidia? For stocks like Nvidia that build up a lot of hype, the shareholders end up being disproportionately weak hands. In other words, they're new traders or investors who just got into the stock near its highs. This means that they might sell their shares even on the slightest pullback. Since they haven't been in there very long, they'll want to cut their losses early. Many traders cannot handle the pain of losses. If they FOMO'd into the rally late and ended up having a cost basis pretty near the stock's highs, if the stock sells off at all, they might just cut their losses early so that they can get out with as small loss as possible. Because of a stock like Nvidia attracting so many different traders to it, there might be enough selling that it could break a key support level. When that happens, traders who've been in it longer and even some investors might have significant gains at those levels, and they might want to protect those gains, so they'll sell as well. The more people who sell, the more a stock will break through those levels of support, and every key price point that it breaks through will cause even more sellers to come out of the woodwork. This is what's called a selling cascade, and when it happens in Nvidia, it can sell off as much as 60%. And you must always keep in mind the history of Nvidia. During the dot-com bust in 2001, Nvidia sold off more than 90%. Now, I'm not saying that that kind of sell-off is likely now. However, you have to remember where Nvidia's come from just in the last couple of months. As you can see, when Nvidia reported its last earnings report in August, it made an all-time high here that morning of $502.66. However, Nvidia then sold off pretty spectacularly, not making a bottom until a few weeks ago in October, selling off nearly 22% from that high and creating a new level of support here at $392.30. In just a matter of a handful of trading days, you can see that Nvidia rallied more than 27% off the low. This is just normal volatility for Nvidia. This isn't even a dramatic sell-off. As we head into the earnings report on Tuesday, expectations for Nvidia are extraordinarily high. And if Nvidia only comes out with meeting expectations or worse, misses expectations, the stock will sell off. And if it misses expectations, we're talking about a deep sell-off. If I didn't already have a significant position in Nvidia, if I had no position at all, headed into a binary event like earnings, where it can either be good or bad, I might actually start a small position on Monday or Tuesday. But what I would do is only buy 5 or 10% of the allocation that I wanted. Since we don't know what its earnings report is going to look like and the stock's near its all-time highs, there's no need to take a big risk before a binary event like that. In other scenarios, if I was a long-term investor and I already had gains and a significant allocation, I might actually take some profits either Monday or Tuesday, just to reduce my cost basis and reduce risk. For me, since I have been in Nvidia since 2016, buying my position at $15.67, I'm in a very very different scenario. Nvidia is the largest position in my portfolio. It has grown that much just this year. And as you can see, I have taken profits all throughout this year, selling at different levels of resistance to ensure that I could lock in gains as it went higher and higher. However, I decided to make another sale because Nvidia was so large, I could take some shares off the table and still have it in excess of the target allocation size for my portfolio. In other words, after I made my sale on the 14th, Nvidia was still larger than 7.14% of my portfolio, which is the maximum target allocation. In circumstances like this, I'll let the biggest position run hot because I have a really large cash position, more than 40%. I don't need cash, so I only take profits in a stock like Nvidia when it is reaching frothy levels, which it did on the 14th. I sold 7.07% of my position at $496.42. This locked in 3,067.96% in gains on shares that I originally bought at $15.67 in 2016. Because Nvidia has the tendency to sell off dramatically, and as you can see, we have this gap from several months ago that many people are predicting will fill. My next buy order is down here at $322.47, a previous point of resistance, which I believe will become support. However, my next buy is never my last buy, so I have many more buy targets beneath that, but I will be more aggressive. That's about 35 to 40% from where I took profits last week. As for my next sell target, I'm not even going to take more profits until after we see earnings. So I have a tentative sell target right below $600, which is a psychological level of resistance. But I don't think Nvidia will pop that high, even if it blows out earnings. That being said, from right now, my next sell target is at $599.37. But I will adjust that after we see what happens on Tuesday.